A thriller in 2 acts. 1 set, 5 characters. A juicy murder in Act 1, unexpected developments in Act 2, sound construction, good dialogue, laughs in the right places, highly commercial.
Oh, that's wonderful, darling. I'm so happy for you, for both of us.
Happy? Why on earth happy?
Well, it's yours, isn't it? The idea you had in August.
The idea I had in August has gone the way of the idea I had in July and the idea I had whenever it was before then. Down the toilet, through the pipes, and out underneath Fairfield County. Pollution in its most grisly form. This arrived in the mail this morning. It's the property of one Clifford Anderson. He was one of those twerps at the seminar this summer. Listen to this. Dear Mr. Brule, I hope you don't mind my sending you my new play, Deathtrap, which I finished retyping at 2 o'clock this morning. Since I couldn't have written it without the inspiration of your own works and the guidance and encouragement you gave me last summer, I felt it only fitting that you be the first person to read it. If you find it 1/10 as good as any of your own thrillers, I'll consider my time well spent and the fee for the seminar more than adequately rewarded.
Oh, well, that's nice.
No, it isn't. It's repulsive. Please excuse the carbon copy. The local Xerox machine is on the fritz, and I just couldn't stand the thought of waiting another day to send my firstborn child off to its spiritual father. My italics, his emetics. I do hope you will phone or write as soon as you have finished reading it and tell me whether you think it is worthy of submitting to, etc., etc. Son of a bitch even types well. Wait, I think I remember him. Enormously obese, glandular condition. 400 pounds at least. I wonder how he got my address.
Well, from the university.
Probably.
Is it really that good? His first play?
It can't miss. A gifted director couldn't even hurt that. It'll run for years. The stock and amateur rights alone will feed and clothe generations of Andersons. Oh, and it can easily be opened up for a movie. George C. Scott and Lee Ullman.
Oh, and Trish Vanderveer.
There's a part in it for her, too. That damn thing is perfect.
Well, I should think that you'd be proud that one of your students has written a marketable play.
For the first time in 11 years of marriage, darling, drop dead.
My goodness.
I'm absolutely green with envy. I'd like to beat the wretch over the head with that mace there, bury him in a 400-pound hole somewhere, and send the thing off under my own name to David Merrick or Hal Prince. Now, there's the best idea I've had in years.
Oh, my poor Sidney.
I mean, what's the point in owning a mace if you don't use it once in a while?
Well, you'll get an idea all of your own any day, and it'll turn into a better play than that one.
Don't bet on it. Not that you have any money left to bet with.
We're doing very nicely in that department. Not one creditor beating at our door.
Yes, but for how long? I've just about cleaned you out now, haven't I?
We have about cleaned me out, but it's been joy and delight every bit of the way. Your next play will simply have to be a terrific smash.
Thanks. That's what I need, an easing of the pressure.
Well, why don't you call it to Merrick's attention? Maybe you could get a commission of some kind.
A finder's fee, you mean?
If that's what it's called.
A glorious 1%, maybe 1.5%.
Well, why don't you produce it yourself? You've been involved in enough productions to know how it's done, and it might be a beneficial change of pace.
Darling, I may be devious and underhanded enough to be a successful murderer, but not, I think, a Broadway producer. One mustn't overestimate one's talents.
Well, have you thought about collaboration?
I don't want any help killing Clifford Anderson. I want to strike the blow myself.
Sidney, seriously, collaborate with him. Isn't there room for improvement in the play, good as it is? You know, the professional touch, a little reshaping and sharpening.
I guess that is a possibility.
Oh, he'd be thrilled at the chance to work with you.
We'd split 50-50.
And you get top billing.
Naturally, reverse alphabetical order, dear boy. It's done all the time.
Well, on the basis of who you are.
Ah, yes. Sidney Four Flops Brule.
Sidney, author of The Murder Game Rule.
Oh, yes, the murder game. I remember that one. Back in the time of King Arthur, wasn't it?
Not quite that long ago.
18 years, love. 18 years. Each one flying faster than the one before it. Nothing recedes like success. Say, that's good, isn't it? I may be able to work that in somewhere. There's this has-been actor who could say it or something. Recedes is ED, right?
Yes. See, you would improve it.
Yes, give it that inimitable Sidney Brule flair. Probably close in Boston.
Well, call him now. Where does he live?
Up in Milford. You don't like the mace?
No, definitely not. Blood on the carpet. And the next day, Helga Tindorf would be picking up the psychic vibration.
In Holland, I doubt that very much.
Sidney, What were you smoking Friday night when the rest of us were smoking grass? She's taken the McBain cottage for 6 months. Paul Wyman is doing a book with her. He was impersonating her for 15 minutes.
Really? I thought he was finally coming out of the closet.
Fine murderer you be. Helga Tendorp moves in practically on your doorstep and you manage not to hear about it.
That does give one pause.
Well, it certainly should. You know, she had Nan and Tom Weston to dinner last week. She told Tom about his backaches. The money he put into silver and his father's thing for tall women. Oh, and she warned Nan that their maid was going to leave, and she did 2 days later. Oh, and she found a set of keys Nan lost in 1969. They were in her clothes dryer.
She's in the McBain cottage.
Right over yonder, picking up our blips on her radar this minute, most likely.
Well, it looks as though Mr. Anderson has himself a collaborator. Not that I believe in ESP.
Well, the police in Europe seem to. That's half of why she's here. She's supposed to be resting from pointing at murderers.
Wait a minute now. The fat one didn't stay the full week, and his name was Quinn or Quincy Anderson. I wonder if he's the one with the awful stammer.
There's an easy way to find out.
Yes. This may be a 3-hour conversation. Busy. Probably talking to Merrick. What's for dinner?
Salmon.
Again?
Yes. Sydney, would you really kill someone to have another successful play?
Don't be silly, darling. Of course I would. Spoken in jest, Miss Tendorp.
It's Mrs. She's divorced.
Naturally, who could stay married to a woman with ESP? Well, don't fix me with that basilisk stare, whatever a basilisk happens to be. Wouldn't you like to go into Sardi's again, securing the knowledge that we're not going to be seated in the kitchen?
Sydney, I think you're serious. I think you really would kill someone to have another hit play. Sydney.
Do you know how much this play could net its author in today's market? $2 million. And that's not including the Deathtrap t-shirts. That is a reasonable motive for murder. I don't know what is. I really wish you hadn't told me about her. Here we go. Hello, Clifford Anderson? Sidney Brule. Yes, I have. I finished it about 15 minutes ago, and I must say, in all sincerity, that you got an enormously promising first draft. Yes, I was just telling my wife, Myra, that if you point it up in the right places, work in a few laughs, give it that reshaping it needs, it'll be right up there with Sleuth, The Murder Game, and Dialed In. It has the makings, as we say. I'm sure you would be. I know that feeling so well. You know, I thought The Murder Game was finished the first time around, but then someone with much more experience in the theater took it in hand and revised it with me. Improved it tremendously, I don't mind admitting. George S. Kaufman. Yes, he didn't take credit, though. God knows I urged him to, because he was deeply in debt at the time and didn't want it known that he had a share of the royalties. Yes. Well, look, I could be quite wrong about all this. What sort of reaction have you had from other people? Oh? No one at all? Well, that's very flattering, but surely someone else has read it. Your wife, your friends, one of the other people at the seminar? Oh, I see. Yes, that sounds ideal. Complete isolation, and all you have to do is water the plants and check the thermostat. I'm surprised you've only written one play since July. I've probably tossed off 3 or 4 by now. I am, actually, a marvelous new thriller. It's about a woman with ESP, based on Helga Tendorf. Yes, she's a neighbor of ours, you know. It's called The Frowning Wife. Yes. That's only a working title, though. I'll have to come up with something a little jazzier than that. I love Deathtrap, incidentally. The title as well as the play. Or the promising first draft, I should say. Yes, I do. Far too many of them to go over with you on the phone, but Perhaps we could get together sometime and go through the manuscript scene by scene. I'm free this evening, as a matter of fact. Why don't you drive down? It's not very far. Oh, I see. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you take the train in, and I'll pick you up at the Westport station and run you over. Yes, it'd be better that way anyway. You'd have a devil of a time finding us. We live way off in the woods. Have to send up flares when we're expecting company. Yes. Do. I'll hold on. His car is in for repairs. He's house-sitting for a couple that's in Europe. Unmarried.
Well, do you think you'll be open to the idea of collaborating?
Oh, yes, I think he will. Was George S. Kaufman alive when the murder... Yes. Oh, no, that's a bit early. When's the next one? Oh, that's too late. Let's make it the 7:29 then. And there's an 11:00-something to New York that stops in Milford, so I'm sure you won't have any trouble at all getting back home. Could you bring the original copy with you? Yes, this carbon is a bit hard on these weary old eyes. Good. I'll see you at 7:29 then. Oh, and Terence. Do you mind if I call you Terence? Why? Oh, God, Clifford. I'm sorry, Clifford. I'm just a few minutes late, Clifford. I have some errands to run. But just wait for me by the station, and I should be along eventually. In a navy blue Mercedes. Yes. Goodbye. I think he's the one without obvious defects.
What errands do you have to run?
Well, didn't you say something about library books, dropping them off, picking them up?
No, I didn't.
Oh. I thought you did. The Xerox machine has been fixed, but he wanted to wait a day or two longer to see if I had any possible revisions or suggestions. No one else has read it. No one even knows he's been working on it.
And no one will see you picking him up.
Thought did cross my mind. I'm so in the habit of planning crimes on paper.
But why did you ask him to bring the original?
Well, you heard me. That carbon is a strain, and we should have 2 copies. I don't want him leaning over my shoulder for 2 hours, exhaling cheeseburger.
But there's bound to be another carbon copy filed away somewhere.
More than likely. All of his notes, rough drafts, outlines. Opening night to my dazzling triumph, his gray-haired old mother comes down the aisle, accompanied by the Westport and Milford Police Department. Hello? Oh, hello, Lottie. How are you? No, I don't think so. I've got an idea I'm working on, and I don't want to lose track of it. Yes, it's still in that embryo stage, you know. Myra might want to, however. Hold on. It's Lottie and Ralph. They're going to that French thing at Fine Arts, too. But now, I could drop you off on the way.
No, I don't want to go. Not tonight.
Lottie, Myra will pass, too. Yeah, she's a bit under the weather. But give us a report on it tomorrow, will you? Good. Have fun. Goodbye. Myra, you don't have to stand guard over me. I only kill when the moon is full.
Why did you lie just now? Why didn't you tell her someone's coming to see you?
Is it their business? I don't know why I lied. I'm just a liar, I guess.
The moon was full. Last night. Except for a sliver down near the bottom.
Really? Well, I shall simply have to exercise massive self-control then. And remind myself of that other carbon copy, which almost certainly exists.
Sidney, if not for that, would you? Could you?
Probably not. Probably I would chicken out, even if he's the tiny one. They say that committing crime on paper siphons off the hostile impulses, and I'm sure it does. At the same time, though, it does open one up to the idea of committing real murder. Gives it that familiar feel of a possibility worth considering. Just as owning a weapon and handling it opens one up, however slightly, to the possibility of using it. But, darling, there is a world of difference between a paper victim and a real one. No, I'm sure that Mr. Anderson will leave here tonight in exactly the same state of health in which he arrives. Manuscript clutched in huge or tiny or relatively normal hand.
Oh, he'll jump at the chance to work with you. And afterwards you come up with an idea that's all your own.
Sure I will. Sooner or later.
You know, maybe you could do something based on Helga Tendorf, but not called The Frowning Wife.
The Smiling Wife. A cheerful up little thriller. You know, Myra, there could be an idea in all of this. A playwright who's undergoing a dry spell, shall we say, is sent a newly hatched play by one of the twerps that attended his seminar. It's a possible opening, isn't it? I mean, if the play is highly commercial and the playwright has a room full of weapons.
Put it in your notes.
I will. It's a pity he has the title Deathtrap, though. It was built in 1794, but the hardware was all out of 9, so I had to backdate it 10 years.
It's a beautiful house.
Historical Society absolutely had kittens.
Oh, hello.
This is Clifford Anderson, my wife, Myra.
Hello. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Well, come in. I was beginning to get worried.
Well, what's the beam? Oh. You can always tell off in the colonial by the visitor's bruised foreheads.
The room you work in.
How did you guess?
The typewriter. And all these weapons. Is that the mace that was used in Murderer's Child?
Yes, and the dagger here is from the murder game. Oh, careful. It's sharp. The trick one wasn't substituted until Act 2.
In for the kill.
Yes.
I can't understand why that play didn't run.
Critics pissing on it might be the answer.
The train must have been late. Was it?
No, Mr. Brule was. The train was on time.
I had to stop for gas, and Frank insisted upon fondling the spark plugs.
Do you know that Gunpoint was the first play I ever saw? I had an aunt in New York, and I came in on the train one Saturday from Hartford by myself. Another first. She took me to a matinee. I was 12 years old.
If you're trying to depress me, you've made it.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you see, that's how I got hooked on thrillers.
Angel Street did it to me. Bella, where is that grocery bill, eh? What have you done with it, you poor, wretched creature? I was 15.
It sounds like a disease being passed from generation to generation.
It is a disease, really. Thrilleritis malignus, the fervent pursuit of the one-set, 5-character moneymaker.
Oh, well, I'm not pursuing money. Not that I wouldn't like to have some, so I could have a place like this to work in. But that isn't the reason I wrote Deathtrap.
Well, you're still an early case.
It's not a disease, it's a tradition. A superbly challenging theatrical framework in which every possible variation seems to have been played. Can I conjure up a few new ones? Can I startle an audience that's been on Angel Street, that's dialed them for murder, that's witnessed the prosecution, that's played the murder game?
Lovely speech, and thanks for saving me for last.
I was coming to sleuth.
I'm glad I stopped you.
So am I. I'm a little euphoric about all that's happening.
As well you should be.
Would you like something to drink?
Yes, please. Do you have some ginger ale?
Yes. Sydney Scotch?
No, I believe I'll have ginger ale as well, dear.
These aren't from all of your plays, are they?
Oh, God, no, I haven't written that many. Friends give me things now, and of course I prowl all the antique shops.
There's a disease.
Yes, and a lovely excuse for not working. I found this in Richfield the other day. 18th century German.
It's beautiful.
As you can see, I'm taking very good care of my spiritual child. Lock and key.
I've got the original.
Oh, thank God. You know, I really should be wearing glasses, but my doctor told me the longer I can go without them, the better off I'll be. There you are. No, there you are.
It's not in a binder. It's Xeroxing.
Makes no difference, really.
I've got the first draft, too. There's a scene between Diane and Carlo I may have been wrongly cut. And then the Diane Richards scene starts earlier, before they know Carlo is back.
Did you do several drafts?
Only one. It's a little messy, but I think you'll be able to decipher it if you'd like to see those two scenes.
Yes, I would. I had the feeling there was a Diane and Carlo scene I wasn't seeing, before the murder.
Yes. I was afraid the acting ran too long.
Well, what else have you got in there?
Oh, the outline, which I departed from considerably. I made it the way you suggested, a page per scene loose leaf, and some lines I jotted down and never got to use.
Threw away the ones you did use as you used them?
Yes.
Same way I work.
Everything was in the one envelope, so I just grabbed it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's a 2-hour walk from the station, so I had to leave right after we talked.
2 hours?
Well, I usually walk longer than that. This is one rider who's not going to get flabby. I work out with weights every morning. You know, I came this close to making it to the Olympic decathlon team.
Really?
Well, this close.
Well, I'll be careful not to argue with you. I'm a member of the Olympic sloth team. Gold medal. Fall asleep in any position. To Deathtrap.
Deathtrap.
Deathtrap. Well, it'll be toasted with more than ginger ale someday if Sidney's right about it, and I'm sure he is.
I hope so. I toasted it with beer the other night.
Oh, we have some. Would you rather?
No, this is fine, thanks.
Are you planning on staying in here?
Yes.
Do you think I overdid the set description? All the exact locations for each piece of furniture?
Oh, the set description? No, I don't remember anything wrong with... No, this is lovely. You certainly type beautifully. Electric?
No, I can't stand electric typewriters. If there's a power failure, you can't work.
That's the whole point in owning one. No, the real problem with them I found, with Zenobia here at any rate, is that you can only do one decent carbon. The second carbon comes off so muddy as to be almost illegible.
Sidney has some wonderful ideas for improving your play, Mr. Anderson.
I'm sure he does. I'm looking forward to hearing them.
Couldn't you do that in the dining room, dear?
Well, there's no good work light in there.
I seem to recall a paisley chair with a light beside it, bright enough for the engraving of Bibles on pinheads.
Well, the light's too bright and the chair's too low. I'll be quiet.
Darling, this is Clifford's first play, and I'm the first person to read it. I am sure he would much rather our conversation be in private. Wouldn't you? Now, don't be embarrassed to say so.
No, I don't mind Mrs. Brule being here. In fact, I like it. It makes me feel a little less as if I've been summoned to the principal's office.
I'm sorry if I awe you.
You do. All those plays and the things you say. I never would have thought of calling my typewriter anything but Smith Corona.
As long as it answers.
You're welcome to read the play too, Mrs. Brule, if you'd like to.
Oh, I would.
I'm curious to know how women are going to react to Diane's decision
Well,
about
now,
the gun.
Sidney told me a little bit about it at dinner, but he stopped at all the surprises, and I don't even know who kills whom.
Good. You shouldn't. I think that's the problem with Murderer's Child, if you'll forgive my saying so. From the opening curtain, it was so obvious that Dr. Mannheim was going to bash poor Ted. You didn't leave any room for doubt. I mean, the audience should suspect, yes, but they shouldn't be absolutely certain, should they? Doesn't that tend to diminish the suspense?
Yes, you may have a point there. I wish you told me over the phone that you wanted Myra to read it, then I would have had you bring along another carbon so she could be reading it now while we have our little talk.
No, I didn't know she'd be interested. Anyway, I don't have one.
You don't have another carbon copy?
I only made the one. I thought I'd be Xeroxing the original as soon as I was through.
Of course. What's the point in 2 or 3 now in the age of Xerox?
She could read this one if she likes, and we could pass the pages back and forth. Or I could sit next to her.
Wait. Let me think. I need to think for a moment.
Mr. Anderson, he has some wonderful ideas for you, just bursting with creative ideas. Well, I've never seen him so enthusiastic. He gets plays in the mail quite often, finished plays ready for production, supposedly. You know, from his agent, from producers, from aspiring playwrights. He usually just laughs and sneers and says the most disparaging things you could possibly imagine. Well, I know he could improve your play. He could turn it into a hit that would run for years and years and make more than enough money for everyone concerned.
Is this what you meant by I'll be quiet?
I won't be quiet. I'm going to say something that's been on my mind ever since your phone conversation. It's wrong of you to expect Sidney to give you the fruit of his years of experience, his hard-won knowledge, without any quid pro quo, as if the seminar were still in session.
He offered to give me...
Well, it's wrong of you to have offered to give it to him. I'm the one in this household whose feet are on the ground and whose eye is on the checkbook. I'm going to make a suggestion to you, Sidney. It's going to come as a shock to you, but I want you to give it your grave and thoughtful and earnest consideration. Will you do that? Will you promise you'll do that for me? Put aside the play you're working on. Put aside the play about Helga Tendorf and how she finds murderers and keys under clothes dryers. Put it aside, Sidney. Help Mr. Anderson with his play. Collaborate with him. That's what I'm suggesting. And that's what I think is the fair and sensible and rational thing to do in this situation. Deathtrap by Clifford Anderson and Sidney Bruhl. Oh, unless, of course, Mr. Anderson feels it in deference to your age and reputation, it should be the other way around.
That is a shocker. Put aside the drowning wife.
I thought it was Brown.
Frowning? No, what sort of title would that be? No, the drowning wife is what I'm calling it now. It has these ESP overtones, plus the women's lib. I mean, it is such a timely play.
But it will keep, Sidney. People are always interested in psychics who can point at someone and say, this man murdered that man. Put it aside, Sidney, and Mr. Anderson, do for him what George S. Kaufman did for you.
Well, that certainly is persuasive, Myra. How does it grab you?
Wow. I suddenly feel as if I'm on the spot.
You are, really. Myra's put you there. Put us both there.
Well, I felt it should be brought up now before anything was done.
Yes. Yes, you're right. Quite right. What are your feelings, Clifford?
First of all, I'm overwhelmed. Really honored and staggered that Sidney Bruhl would even consider putting aside one of his own plays to work with me on mine. I mean, there I was, sitting in that theater when I was 12 years old, and, well, who'd have thought one day I'd be standing here weighing a chance to...
We get the gist of the passage here.
It's a golden opportunity. I'm sure I ought to seize with both hands.
Oh, you should. Yes, you should.
But the thing is, well, it's as if I went to see a doctor, one of the world's leading specialists, and he recommended surgery. Well, even with my respect for his eminence, his experience, I would still want to get a second opinion, wouldn't I? I mean, I'm sure your ideas are terrific, but Mrs. Bruhl is right. It wouldn't be fair for me to hear them now without some sort of an understanding or arrangement. And to be perfectly honest, right now, without having heard them, I feel that Deathtrap is very good as it is. Not perfect, certainly. I guess it could use a little fine-tuning, but I'm not so sure it needs major surgery. What I ought to do, I think, is Xerox a few copies and send them off to some of those agents you recommended to us at the seminar. If they say, too, that a major rewriting is in order, well, then I'll be coming back here begging you to do what Mrs. Bruhl suggested. And I'd be willing to make whatever arrangement you think is right. The same one you had with Mr. Kaufman, I guess. I hope I haven't offended you.
Not at all.
Oh, please, Mr. Anderson. The agents know about contracts. They don't know
Don't, Myra. Don't beg him. He'll think he has the wealth of the Indies in there, and you and I are Mr. and Mrs. Jean Lafitte.
You never think anything like that, Mr. Bruhl. I'm grateful you're willing to go out of your way to help me.
But I'm not really. Now that I've had a moment to consider the matter, I would never put aside a play as timely and inventive as The Drowning Wife to do wet nurse work on anything as speculative as Deathtrap. Sit down, Myra. You're making me nervous standing there hyperventilating. Do as you say. Show it to a few agents. And then if you feel that rewrites are still in order, get in touch. Who knows? I may hit a snag. It's happened once or twice.
Thanks. I will.
Though I doubt I shall, really. I've already got it completely outlined, and I'm more than halfway through. And I've got another play ready to go after that one, based on the life of Harry Houdini.
Really?
Yes, magic is very in now. Look at the success of the magic show. Houdini's always been an idol of mine. These are a pair of his handcuffs.
Sidney.
Relax, darling. Clifford doesn't look like the type of man who would steal another man's idea. Now, you wouldn't do that, would you?
Of course not.
You see? No cause for alarm. His heart as far from fraud as heaven from earth. Remarkable man, Houdini. Made all his own magical apparatus. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Magnificent craftsmanship. Here, Have a look.
Sidney, please!
Sit down, Myra.
Don't stop. Think I'm
He's
begging
an
you.
honest young man. Now, will you please sit down and stop being so awful suspicious of everyone who comes through that door? We had a rather unfortunate incident a few years back with a plagiaristic playwright, whose name I shan't mention since he's gone to meet his maker, recalled for repairs. Ever since then, Myra becomes nervous if I so much as tell her the writer what language I'm using. Don't take it personally. Have a good look at those. They're quite remarkable.
They look so genuine.
Oh, they were made to. And apparently solid and escape-proof.
They certainly seem that way.
Be my guest.
You mean put them on?
Yes, that's what I mean when you're holding my prize pair of $1,200 Houdini handcuffs and I say, be my guest. Put them on.
$1,200.
Shoot. Let me see again. There. Good. Now, the trick is this. Hold your wrist like this. Now, turn, press, pull. No, you didn't do it right. It's got to be one quick motion. Let's try again. Now, turn, press, pull.
No, they're not opening.
Well, they did for me yesterday morning. It's not a question of them not being oiled.
I guess I'm just not Houdini.
Well, don't worry about it. I've got a key around here. Somewhere. Don't go on fussing with them. You'll have to ruin them.
Sorry.
Key, 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 key. Where are you, little brass key?
This could make a great thriller. It could. I mean it.
How so?
Well, a young playwright sends his first play to an older playwright who conducted a seminar that the young playwright attended. Nobody else has read it. And then he comes to visit the older playwright to get some ideas for rewrites. He brings along the original and all his notes and everything. Of course, you'd have to have the Xerox machine breaking down to explain why there are only 2 copies. And the play would have to be a very good one. The one the younger playwright wrote, I mean. And the older playwright would have to have nothing much going for him at the time.
An amazing concatenation of unlikely circumstances, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, maybe. But we've almost got it here, haven't we? The only difference is you've got the drowning wife in the Houdini play, and Deathtrap probably isn't worth killing for. I'll bet nobody even saw me getting into your car.
Well, there you are. You've licked that second play problem.
I think it could be turned into something fairly interesting. What do you think, Mrs. Brule?
I don't think. It frightens me.
Wonder if I could have put that key up here somewhere.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I ought to be getting a phone call any minute now. There's a girl who's coming to see me at 8:30. That's about what time it is now, isn't it? I couldn't reach her before I left, so I left a note on the hall mirror telling her where I am and giving her this number. So she can call and find out what train I'll be taking back. So she can pick me up at the station. 1 2-hour walk per day is just about enough for me, so I hope to find that key soon, or else you're going to have to hold the phone for me.
How is this girl going to get in to read this note?
She has a key.
You're not a very conscientious house sitter, are you?
She's honest.
You told me in the car you didn't know anyone in Milford except a few tradespeople.
She's from Hartford. Her name is Marietta Klonowski. She teaches at Quirk Middle School. Phys ed.
How did you get this number? It's not listed.
They gave it to me at the university, along with your address. I'm friendly with Miss Beecham there.
Beecham?
Short, dark-haired lady, the eye shade.
Ah, Well, I certainly hope she gave you the right number. We recently had this one changed. An obscene phone caller was boring us, and I don't remember notifying old you of Khan. What number was it that you left for Miss Klonowski?
I don't remember it.
226-3049 or 226-5457.
The first one, 3049.
The new number. I must have notified the university and clean forgot about it. How strange and untypical of me.
Could you go on looking for the key, please?
Certainly.
Sydney, my heart won't take it.
Well, take what, darling? My finding the key? I do believe the two of you thought I was going to grab that mace there and do a Dr. Mannheim. Clifford.
You can't write a play like that and not have a mind that envisions possibilities.
True, true. I'm slightly paranoid myself. But what's your excuse, oh loyal and trusting wife? 11 marriage, and she actually thinks me capable of flesh and blood murder. There's a lesson for you in that, Clifford. Come, uncuff yourself. Deathtrap is promising, yes, but no, it's not that promising.
I'm glad it isn't.
No, I think your best invention to date was the name Marietta Klonowski. That's lovely. I congratulate you.
Thanks.
I can see the sweat on her forearms after the basketball game. Yes, but Mrs. Beecham's eye shade, that was a bit much.
Really? I thought that was the kind of convincing detail you always told us to try for. You sure this is the right key?
Ye gods. Houdini opens it in a milk can under 10 feet of water, and you can't even... Get back, Mara! Stay back! Get back! Right on the rug. 1 point for neatness. Your heart seems to have taken it.
Barely.
We'll give it a rest. On the Riviera, out to the opening. And we'll get it made so you can take it easy again for a while. A new car, too. Damn Rolls or something.
We're going to be in prison.
A young would-be playwright walks away from his house-sitting job. The police won't even bother to yawn.
Leaving his clothes and his typewriter.
Why not? Who can understand young people these days? Especially the would-be playwright. Maybe he realized he wouldn't be a playwright and ran off to preach ecology or join the Reverend Song Young Moon or something. Who knows? The place may be broken into and little Smith Corona stolen.
What are you going to do with him?
Bury him. Behind the garage. No, the vegetable patch. Easier digging. I am going to be a winner again. Take a brandy or something, Myra. All of our dear, sweet friends are going to see you living on my money for a change. Picture their confusion. Farewell, Clifford Anderson. Full moon, all right. Oh, I hope this isn't going to become a monthly practice. Oh. you mind giving me a hand with the body? Myra! It's been done. I don't see the point in my getting a hernia. Oh, thank God he wasn't the fat one. Go. Make mine a double. Got myself a bit of a chill. Along with incipient blisters, aching arms, and small devils poking pitchforks into what I believe is my lumbago. In Murderer's Child, I had Dr. Mannheim bury Teddy in 45 minutes. In future, I'll know better. Well, we are out one throw rug, but I did see some lovely ones at the Yield House the other day. I have that feeling you're about to deliver a speech, Myra. Would you mind holding off until I've poured my own brandy and sat down?
I had intended to. I've learned something in 11 years of melodrama.
Good girl. Good.
I'd be very happy living on your money, but I don't relish the thought of living on his. I've tried to understand how you could do it, bearing in mind your disappointments and your embarrassment in our financial situation. But I can't. And how will you feel like a winner when we'll both know it's his play? I can't understand that either. You're alien to me, Sidney. And it can't be only since 5 o'clock this afternoon. You must always have been very different from the person I thought you were. And I don't think the police are going to be as unconcerned as you do, so I don't want to do anything that'll look suspicious when they come to question us.
Why would they? He disappeared from Milford. This is Westport.
They'll check into his past associations. He must have gotten your address from the university, even if he did lie about the phone number.
If they come by, I'll simply say he wrote to me. Some twerpy little letter, and I answered it. Or maybe I just threw it away.
In a month or so, if we haven't been arrested, I want you to leave. We'll have a few arguments in people's living rooms. You can write them for us, little tips about money or something. And then you'll move out. I wish you could take the vegetable patch with you. But since you can't, you'll buy it from me. As soon as the money starts rolling in, before the Riviera and before the Rolls Royce. You'll buy the vegetable patch and the house and the whole 9.3 acres. We'll get Buck Raymond or Maury Escher to set a fair price.
Myra, you have had a shocking...
Don't touch me.
You have had a shocking and frightening experience. And so have I. I'm terrified that I'll be caught and absolutely guilt-ridden about having been insane enough to do it in the first place. I'm going to give half the money to the new Dramatists League, I swear I am. Look, now is not the time to discuss anything. In a few days, when we're both ourselves again, things will look much cheerier.
You are yourself now, and so am I. In a few days, it won't... Go ahead. He wrote me a twerpy letter, officer.
It's probably Lottie and Ralph come to yammer about the movie.
It's probably Helga Tendor.
Don't be silly. It's Lottie and Ralph, damn them. We've got to let them in. Can you face them? Maybe you better go upstairs.
No, I'm going to stay right here and let you worry that I'll fall apart.
Coming! Who is it?
I am your neighbor in House of McVeigh. Please, will you let me come in? It's most urgent I speak to you. I got the information, but the lady will tell me not your number. Please, will you let me come in? And friend of Paul Wyman is most urgent. Oh, I apologize for too late I come, but you will forgive when I make the explaining. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this room I see. Beams and windows, so. Oh, and the pain. Such pain. Oh. Pain. 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 Pain.
We're neither of us up to snuff tonight.
Just as I see them. Why do you keep such pain-covered things?
Well, they're antiques and souvenirs from plays. I'm a playwright.
Oh, yeah, Sidney Brule. Paul Wyman tells me. We make to get a book.
Really, this is my wife, Myra.
How do you do?
What gives you such pain, dear lady?
Nothing, I'm fine, really.
Oh, no, something you see pains you. Paul tells you of me. I am Helga Tendor. I'm psychic.
Well, yes, he did. As a matter of fact, we were going to ask...
Hours now, I have felt the pain from here. And more than pain. Since 8:30, when begins the Merv Griffin show. Oh, I'm on it next week. You will watch.
Yes, of course. Myra, make a note of that, Myra.
Thursday night. Jean Dixon also. What they want her for, I do not know. But I called the information, but the lady will tell me not your number. So I call Paul. He is not home. He is in some place with red walls, eating with chopsticks. So I call the information again. I say, it's urgent. You must give me number. I am Helga Tendorf. I'm psychic. She say, guess number. I try, but only I see the 226, which is everybody, yeah? So I come here now because the pain is worse. And more than pain.
More than pain?
Oh, yeah, there's something else here. Something frightening. But no, it will interfere.
What will?
But the drink you would give me. Must keep unclouded the head, never drink. Only when the images become too many, then I get drunk. This was used many times by beautiful dark-haired women, but only pretending.
That's amazing. That's from my play, The Murder Game, and it was used every night by a beautiful dark-haired actress.
It'll be used again by another woman, not in play, because of play. Because of play, another woman uses this knife. You should put away these things.
Oh, yes, I will. In a month or so, I'll sell the whole collection. Tired of them anyway.
It may be too late. I do not enjoy to make unhappy people, but I must speak when I see something, yeah?
Well, I don't know. You could keep quiet. I mean, you are supposed to be resting, aren't you? You're not in your own country and everything.
Must speak is what God gives gift. It's danger here. Much danger. To you. And to you. Is death in this room. Is something that invites death, that carries death. Deathtrap. This is word in English, Deathtrap?
Yes.
Yes, it's the title of a new play I've been working on. That's where you got it from. There's a murder in the play. I'm sure that's what you're responding to. I've been working right there at the desk.
Well, maybe, but feels like real death to me.
Oh, I try to be convincing. Act everything out as I write it.
Man in boots, young man in this room, he attacks you.
He attacks me?
With one of those, he comes as friend to help you, to work with you, but attacks. There's confusion here.
Yes, well, we'll definitely be on the lookout for a young man in boots. We're going to be Japanese from now on, darling. Shoes off at the door.
sits in this chair and he talks of Diane
Well, there is a Diane in the play.
and two other people, Smith and Colonna. No, one person, small, dark. Isn't play Dark Man Smith Colonna?
I've never heard that name before.
It's a very confusing image. Well, it's gone now. Nothing else comes.
It's a remarkable demonstration, wasn't it, dear? I mean, the way you picked up on the title of the play, Diane, the dagger business, really amazing.
Remember what else I tell you. Dagger is used again by woman because of play, and man in boots attacks you. Of these two things I am certain. All else is confusing. Pain is less now, yeah?
Yes, there wasn't any, really.
What a remarkable gift. I must admit I've been skeptical about ESP, but you convinced me that it's genuine.
Oh, it's genuine, and not always have the gift to be owner of.
Well, have you always had it?
Since I was a child. Never could I enjoy a game of hide and go seek. It was too easy, you understand? And parents never wrap Christmas presents by wasting paper. And later, in my teenagers, walking with boys, such images.
Won't you have that drink now? I'd very much like to talk with you.
Oh, no, thank you. I must get back to house. You come sometime take dinner with me. I will tell you my whole life would make very good play. When you were a child, you are living in large house with yellow shutters, yeah?
Oh, yes.
Oh, always when moon is full, I am in top form. Good night.
Good night.
Be careful. You also.
I intend to. Yes, no boots allowed. Good night.
Good night. Oh, remember, Thursday night, Mark Griffin show.
Oh, yes. Well, that's the best she can do. We have nothing to worry about.
You're not afraid of the danger she saw?
Not especially.
We're going to be in prison.
I don't see how. If the police do come by and do drag her into it, which hardly seems likely, what of it? She'll have them combing the entire tri-state area for a small black boy with two spools of ribbon, one here and one here, going through his mouth.
But she saw him sitting there. She heard him speaking.
But she had the main point backwards. You'll see, there is nothing to worry about. I'll burn these things tomorrow. I'll throw them in the garbage. In a few days, it will all be behind us. I couldn't help myself, Myra. I saw that play going out into the world tomorrow and him sitting there so young, so lucky. Don't decide yet about kicking the old boy out, eh? And please, I beg you, don't entertain thoughts of using the dagger. It's just a joke. There's another one of her confused images, I'm sure. Though if we do get a housekeeper, I want her to have remarkably good
Oh,
references.
sell the collection.
Probably I should. Well, I will. Not right away, though. It might look too suspicious. Amazing, isn't it? 18 years and Tanya's aura still permeates it.
Oh, put it away somewhere.
Exit dagger into desk.
You know, part of me was hoping you'd do it. At the same time, I was terrified that you would. Part of me was hoping. I saw your name and the money.
You tried to stop me, Mama. You did your best, but it was my doing and mine alone. You helped me carry him because you were too stunned and too in the habit of helping me to refuse when I asked. If anything should ever go wrong, there must not be any confusion whatsoever on that point, all right? But nothing will go wrong, darling. You'll see. In a few weeks, we'll be celebrating. Leading producer Option's new Sidney Bruhl thriller. Successful playwrights admit envy. Let's lock up and go to bed. Is it possible that murder is an aphrodisiac? What a shock that would be to the importance of ginseng root. Not to mention the departments of health, education.
She's dead. I'm positive. It worked.
Of course. How could it not? She's had minor ones over much less. Oh, and for the record, Cliff, styrofoam hurts. He used it a hell of a lot harder than he did at the hotel.
He added adrenaline of the actual performance. Hey, you didn't make that strangling a jolly experience either. And Jesus, what about that Tendor? I almost had a heart attack myself out there.
Same here.
Funny the way she saw I was going to attack you.
Yeah, she was a little off base, though. She had you doing it with one of the weapons.
That was probably the grog getting mixed in.
Yeah, it's very confusing image. Side of your nose.
You too.
Well, it's just as well she did come. Now she'll be telling everyone she felt the physical pain of the oncoming heart attack. Every little bit helps. I've been telling people for weeks that Myra's been under the weather. Not that any supportive evidence is necessary, really.
I better get my things in.
Oh, no rush. I'm not going to call the doctor right away. We don't want them working any miracles of resuscitation, now do we?
What if Madame Tendor comes back?
I can't see why she should. The pain has stopped, hasn't it?
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Oh, don't move around so much. You're shedding dirt. I bet you were glad to hear my exit dagger line.
Was that for my benefit?
Of course. I was going to suggest putting it away myself if she hadn't. I thought the prediction might have made you a bit uneasy. You know, I had visions of you heading off into those woods, leaving me with a live wife, an imaginary corpse, and no surefire can't-miss thriller to justify one for the other.
I never would have done that.
Well, I just thought I would relieve any possible anxiety. I don't think I'll burn these now. It'll take too much time.
Why burn them at all? They're just old manuscripts.
True. We could cut them up and use the backs for scrap. Oh, that's so chintzy, though. Oh, what the hell. I'll just tell everyone I was cleaning out my files when the Grim Reaper struck.
The closer you can stay to the truth,
The better off you are. You're a fount of homey wisdom, Cliffy boy. Farewell, Deathtrap. Would that you were the genuine article.
we can put my desk right here.
But no, I've got a little surprise for you.
Oh, wait, let me guess. I get to work in the maid's room.
Would I do that to you? No, you're going to be working right here in this handsomely converted windmill, as promised.
And what's the surprise?
You'll see. After the funeral. I hope you won't mind Zenobia tearing on at full speed. I really am going to try something on ESP. That was a remarkable demonstration she gave, despite the mistakes.
I'm ready to get to work, too.
The thing you mentioned at the seminar?
No, I've got a better idea. Last week, while I was cleaning out my desk, I realized there's a play right there, in a typical urban welfare office.
A thriller?
No. To tell the truth, I've begun to lose interest in thrillers. I want to try for something more honest, more relevant.
Well, even though you used those 2 words, I'm going to let you stay here. Go get your things out of the car. I'll phone the doctor. Sure. Is he in? Sidney Bruhl. B-R-U-H-L. Yes. Well, could you have him paged, please? Yes, it's an emergency. My wife just had a heart attack. Thank you. Goodbye.
I left the weights for tomorrow. And the typewriter.
Oh, yes. Little Mr. Colonna.
That was funny, wasn't it? On its way.
Answering service.
Wouldn't you know? Well, see you later. How long do you think it'll take?
No, I don't know. At least an hour or two. I may have to go with her. I don't know.
Well, ciao.
Ciao. Oh, Cliff. The floor upstairs creaks badly. So do a quick little wash up, jump into bed, and stay there.
How about that?
Hello? Yes, a bad one. I gave her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation for 10 to 15 minutes, but it's no good. There's nothing. Yes, she's been feeling under the weather lately. I tried to let me call you, but no, she said no. Yes. Hurry, please. Goodbye. Must have been quite a welfare office.
It was. Everyone had a poignant story. They're creating the play of their own accord.
No notes, no outline.
This isn't a thriller scene. It's not dependent on intricate plotting and contrived theatrics. These are real people. All I'm doing is bringing them on and letting them spill out their dreams and frustrations, their anger at the bureaucracy.
Joe Papp will have a messenger at the door any moment.
I was thinking of him as a possible producer. Do you know?
Slightly. Let me see a few pages.
Sure, if you'd like to. But I'd really rather wait until the first draft is done and give you the whole thing in one glorious bundle. Would you mind?
Of course not. What's another hour or two?
It won't take 3 or 4 weeks, I think.
At the rate you're going, you'll have a trilogy by then.
Nothing doing?
I'm thinking.
Why don't you invite her over? Pendor. Talking with her might spark something.
Do you think we should risk having her on the premises?
Maybe not when the moon is full. Any other time, I don't see why not. Look at that egg she laid on the Griffin show.
Well, she just got rattled when Jean Dixon described all of her ex-husbands in such detail.
Bill Forrester called before you came down. She wanted to know if she could bring a casserole over or come sew on a button. I told her we were managing just fine.
No, let me. We don't want to break the flow, now do we? Porter, come in.
How are you, sitting?
Doing fairly well, thank you. And yourself?
Fine. I have to talk to you about a few things. Am I disturbing you?
No, not at all. Glad for the chance to take a break. How come you're all not in the city today?
Had to be in New Haven this afternoon.
Ah.
The secretary?
Yes.
My word, fast fighter.
He is, isn't he? Come, meet him. Clifford. This is Clifford Anderson, my very good friend Porter Milgram.
How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
I would say my attorney, but then he would probably bill me.
Well, I'm going to anyway. This is a business call.
Oh.
Pardon me, please.
Clifford was at the seminar I conducted in July. He had inquired then about a secretarial position, and when Myra passed away, I realized I would need someone to lend a hand. So I called Clifford. Next day, here he was.
Have typewriter, will travel.
That was very good of you.
It's a privilege to be of help to someone like Mr. Brule.
Oh, look at that. Isn't that a beauty? Yes. Where did you find it? Up in Wilton. Ran across it the other day. We're in the process of restoring it now.
Cost a pretty penny, I'll bet.
Well, it is deductible, isn't it?
Yes, well, they can't very well quibble about a writer's desk now, can they? Wait till Elizabeth sees this.
How is Elizabeth?
Oh, fine.
And the girls?
Couldn't be better. Kathy loves Vassar.
Well, and vice versa, I'm sure. Won't you sit down?
Shall I go get the groceries now? That way you and Mr. Milgram can talk in private.
Would you mind?
Have to do it sometime before dinner. Might as well.
Good. I'll be with you in a moment, Porter.
Take your time. I haven't started the clock yet. I love this room.
Isn't it nice? It's a pleasure working here.
He's, looking well.
He's picked up quite a bit in the past few days. First week was pretty bad. He was crying every night. I could hear it plainly. And he was drinking heavily. But he'll pull through. His work is a great solace to him.
Yes, I'm sure it must be. I've always envied my writer clients on that account. I tried to play once.
Oh,
But the Supreme Court justice I most admire, even the title was a problem. Frank Flint.
29?
too much. We just need milk and salad things. I'm going to get some.
Good. Pick up some yogurt, too. Anything but cream.
Okay. You aren't in the driveway, are you?
Oh, no, I pulled over on the side.
Well, see you later, or nice meeting you, whichever it turns out to be.
Yes, I'm sure we'll be seeing each other again soon. Pleasant young fellow. Good looking, too.
Yes, he is, isn't he? Tell me, do you think he's gay? Homosexual?
I know what gay means, Sidney. Elizabeth told me long ago. No, he didn't try me that way.
I have the sneaking suspicion that he might be. But as long as he does his job well, I guess it's really none of my business, is it?
Well, in essence, he is a domestic employee, and in such circumstances, I think his sexual preference would be a legitimate matter of concern.
I wasn't asking for a legal opinion. I simply said it wasn't any of my business.
Oh, in that case, no, it isn't.
Besides, people would talk if I took on a female secretary, wouldn't they?
If she were under 80.
That's what I thought. So I'll just call Clifford.
I'm glad to see you looking so well. That's the real reason I come. I was delegated by Elizabeth and the Westons and the Harveys. That young man has been discouraging all callers, and we were afraid you might be in worse shape than you were letting on. But obviously that's not the case.
Oh, no. I'm not up to socializing yet, but I'm pulling through. The work is a great solace to me.
That's what he said.
What?
Before he left, he said your work was a great solace to you.
Oh.
What are you up to now?
A new play about ESP. It's based on Helga ten Dorp. She's in the McBain cottage, you know.
Yes, I do. Tell me, is it true what everyone's saying? Do you mind speaking about this?
No, not at all. Go ahead.
Is it true she actually pointed to the spot on the floor where Myra was going to fall?
Oh, no. No, nothing like that. Nothing at all like that. All she did was come in here and say, there is pain. There is great pain in this lady's chest. And Myra said, well, there's slight pain. And she said, still, with your history, you should see your doctor. Which is what I've been telling Myra for days.
Uncanny being able to sense things like that. I should think you'd be able to write a very fine thriller on the subject.
It's coming along. Business time?
Yes. First item on the agenda is your will. Now that Myra's gone, you should look it over. As it stands now, should anything happen to you, your cousins in Vancouver would inherit. Do you want it left that way?
I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
Don't put it off. And this is the second item. It's only approximate because I don't have up-to-date appraisals on the real estate yet, but that's roughly what you can anticipate, give or take a few $1,000s.
I had no idea it was this much.
Really? Then Myra must have been keeping a few secrets. She knew. Her records were an apple pie order.
How much of this is the government going to grab?
Oh, not too much, really. The first $250,000 is exempt from federal taxes, of course, and the state tax, which starts at $50,000, is only a few percent.
Oh, there is one more point, Sidney. I was speaking to Maura Escher last night at the planning board meeting.
He said you spoke to him about selling off a few acres.
I'm not sure that I will now.
You can't. Not yet, anyway. You have to wait till the will goes through probate.
Oh, yes, of course, I know that. I simply asked him how much he thought I could get.
Ah, then he was jumping the gun, not you. I wanted to make sure you were clear on that point. Now, in the business, you've gotten off cheap.
Yes, I've been lucky this time.
What is the procedure? You dictate, he types?
No, I do my own typing. He will retype the final draft, of course, and he does all my letters.
Is that what he was doing before? Letters?
No, a play of his own.
Oh, the seminar, of course.
Yes, started it yesterday and will probably finish it tomorrow.
I do hope he's not stealing your ESP idea. Have you mentioned it to him?
What makes you say that?
Well, he locked whatever he was working on into the drawer. Unobtrusively, but I noticed.
Of course, he might be worried that you'll steal his idea. Hardly. Life in a welfare office, the dreams and frustrations of half a dozen people you just as soon not spend an evening with.
He's worked in a welfare office then?
Yes, that's what he was doing before.
Might only be force of habit. People who work in large offices often lock their desks.
Unobtrusively? Just the opposite, I would think. Hey, everybody, look, I'm locking my desk now.
Might just be his way of doing things. He's probably exactly what he seems. Honest and healthy young man. Completely trustworthy.
Yes, probably.
Well, I'd better get moving if I'm to be a new tenant by noon.
Oh.
Trustees lunch at old Eli.
There you are.
Have you received a check from the insurance company yet?
No, I haven't.
Well, I'll write them a letter first thing in the morning.
Thanks, I'd appreciate it.
Will you come have dinner?
In a few weeks, I think I'll be ready to face the world again.
Good enough. Take care.
You too. And give my love to Elizabeth. And the girls. Shit. Come on, bastard. Wow, damn old world craftsman. Shit. Come on. Oh, Jesus Christmas! Feces! Well, that was quick.
Well, I only went to get it.
Here, let me.
It's all right, I don't mind.
No, you shot, I'll put away. Get back to your little welfare office.
God forbid. Changes in the bulb. The avocado is supposed to be organic.
Would you give me a hand here?
Where are you?
Where are you?
Hey, wait.
Oh, there you are. I thought you hadn't heard me, so I came round. Need those Olympic fingers.
Beer, now?
Got a sudden mad craving, as in the commercials. I thought you might have one too. Shook it a bit, sorry.
You can open these with an opener, you know.
Really?
Sure. Didn't it say so?
Who do they expect to read this? Roaches? So, you've lost your interest in thrillers, eh? No taste for the intricate plotting or great superficial characters? Want to do something more real, socially relevant?
Hey, cut it out, will you? Your ideals start coming.
Possibly.
Just relax and don't try to bug me. It'll come.
Deathtrap by Clifford Anderson. Characters Julian Crane, Doris Crane, Willard Peterson, Inga Van Bronk. The action of the play takes place in Julian Crane's study in the Crane home in Westport, Connecticut.
You got one hell of a nerve. Steal it!
Second, Julian Crane's study is a handsomely converted windmill grafted onto an authentic colonial house. Upstage center are the front door, entrances to the dining room and kitchen, and staircase to the second level. French doors downstage left open out to a shrubbery-flanked patio. Also downstage left, a waste paper basket, practical to the extent that paper can be burned in it. The room is decorated with tastefully chosen antiques, a buffet downstage right with liquor decanters, and focus of the room, Julian's desk. You remember Julian's desk, don't you? The one he worked at before he took crazy Willard Peterson into his home? The room is also decorated with framed theatrical posters, unlike those which are lobby cards, not posters, and a collection of guns, handcuffs, maces, broadswords, and battle axes, several of which I'm about to make use of any minute now.
That's it. You're not going to act out the 11 pages. Would you like me to explain?
What's to explain? You're a lunatic with a death wish. Freud covered it thoroughly.
Exactly the same wish you have, Sidney. A success wish.
This is going to bring you success?
It hit me that night, remember? I threw in the extra speech while you were looking for the key. It can be a terrific thriller.
In which someone like me and someone like you gives someone like Myra a fatal heart attack?
Yes, at the end of Act 1.
What, pray tell, is your definition of success? Being gangbanged in a shower room with a state penitentiary?
I knew you would have reservations about it. That's why it was my first instinct to say that it wasn't even a thriller. I haven't enjoyed putting you on, Sidney. I'm glad it's out in the open.
You knew I would have reservations?
Well, you do, don't you?
The house madman is writing a play that will send us both to prison.
It won't.
I'm standing here horrified, terrified, crapping my pants, and he calls that having reservations. I'm not going to use one of those on you. I'm going to beat you to death with Roget's thesaurus.
There is no way for anyone to prove what did or did not cause Myra's heart attack. Look, babe, if I could change things, I would, but I can't. It has to be a playwright because who else could pretend to receive a finished work that can make tons of money?
A novelist, a composer. Why am I even discussing this?
A surefire smash hit symphony. No. And would a novelist or a composer know where to get a garrote that squirts blood? Or how to stage a convincing murder? And it has to be a playwright who writes thrillers, Sidney, because Arthur Miller probably has old sample cases hanging on his walls. Suppose I could make it Wilton instead of Westport.
Why make it anywhere? Why make it?
Because it's there, Sidney.
That is mountains, not plays. Plays are not there until some asshole writes them.
Stop. Sit down. I want you to stop and I want you to think a minute. Think about that night. I'm trying to see everything from an audience's viewpoint. Everything we did to convince Myra that she was seeing an actual murder would have exactly the same effect on them. Weren't we giving a play? Didn't we write it, rehearse it? Wasn't she our audience? Scene 1. Julian tells Doris about this terrific play he's received in the mail. He jokes about killing for it. And then invites Willard over, getting him to bring the original copy. The audience thinks exactly what Doris thinks. Julian might kill Willard. Scene 2. Everything that happened from the moment we came through that door. All the little ups and downs we put in to make it ring true. The I'm expecting a phone call bit. Everything. Tighten it up a little bit, naturally. And then the strangle, which scares the hell out of the audience as much as it does Doris.
No wonder you didn't need an outline.
It's all up here. Every bit of it. Scene 3. Inga Van Braun. A few laughs, right? Can't hurt. And then Julian and Doris get ready to go upstairs, and it looks as if the act is coming to a kind of so-so close. Then, pow! In comes Willard out of the grave seeking vengeance. Shock? Surprise? Doris has her heart attack. Julian gets up from the fake beating. The audience realizes that Julian and Willard are in cahoots, that there isn't any surefire thriller, and that Willard is moving in. The curtain is Julian burning the manuscripts, or calling the doctor. I'm not sure which. Now be honest, Sidney. Isn't that a surefire first act?
Yes, yes it is. And what's an intermission? 20 years to life.
No one can prove it really happened. They can't. How can they?
Well, what do you say to the man from the Times when he says, wait, don't you work for Sidney Brule? And didn't his wife have a fatal heart attack just around the time you came there?
No comment.
Oh, my God.
I know it's going to be a little bit sticky, but, well, everybody's opening up about everything these days, aren't they? It's in print, on the screen. Why not on stage, as long as it can't be proved? Sidney, I've given this some serious thought, and I think it'll help the play. Give it an added dimension of intriguing gossip.
Oh, I'm sure you're right. I can see the little box in New York Magazine now. Tongues are wagging about interesting similarities in the new play Deathtrap and the private lives of its author, Clifford Anderson, and his employer, Sidney Brule, who incidentally committed suicide on opening night. When queried, the deft Mr. Anderson said, no comment. Well, I have a comment, Cliff. No. Absolutely, definitely, no. I have a name and a reputation, tattered perhaps, but still valid for dinner invitations, box seats, and the conducting of summer seminars. I want to live out my life as author of the murder game, not faggot who knocked off his wife. Why, look, a waste paper basket. Let's see if it's practical to the extent that paper can be burned. Don't!
You dare. You burn that. I'm gonna go out of here and write it someplace else. I'll get a house sitting job. Give it to me, Sidney. Give it to me! I helped you kill for a chance to become what I want to be. You're not going to take it away from me. You know, we really shouldn't be getting mad at each other, Sidney. That's not what I want.
No, no, of course not. Let's talk for a moment about exactly what it is that you do want.
Certainly. I want a shortcut, Sidney, and I really don't give a shit whose property it cuts through. You know what I mean?
And you think that that is going...
Hoped that when I showed you the finished draft, you'd be impressed enough to get over your Angel Street uptightness and pitch in. Guess I can forget about that.
You mean a collaboration?
It's mostly your idea, isn't it? I'm not pretending it's all my baby. So what if the publicity gets a little bit sticky? I mean, just look around. Jesus Christ. You don't have to read Hustler. Just read The Village Voice, People magazine. Sidney, let me tell you something. Everything that you have ever thought of, and a hell of a lot that you haven't, is in print and on the screen. I mean it, babe. It's a tidal wave. All the news that's fit to print and show. Sidney, nobody gives a shit who did what or how they did it. All they want is to be in on it. So, you killed your wife. That's okay. Why don't you abuse your kids, poison a well, flog cats? As long as you get on television and talk about it afterwards. You know I'm right, don't you? I mean, did you ever hear of anybody turning down a party where they thought they could meet Nixon or Vesco or any of those other big guys that got away with it? Sidney, I've given this some serious thought. And I think that some talk about us and about Myra would help the play.
Well, you certainly have given it some thought, haven't you? And you may be right, but
What?
let's be honest, Cliff. And I mean really honest here. If you had the choice between putting out a hit play and putting out a hit play with dangerous origins, you'd choose the latter, wouldn't you?
Clever old Sid.
Now, level with me, love. Those little brushes with the authorities, as it were, in your infancy, before you matured and settled down, so to speak, did any of the courts, the social workers, the shrinks, did anyone ever use the word
What word, love?
sociopath? I mean, that is what it's called, isn't it?
That's what it's called. Does that word frighten you, Sidney?
Oh, no, it doesn't frighten me. It does, however, give me pause. Clinically, it means, as I'm sure you know, it means one who has no sense of moral obligation whatsoever. Now, if, and I repeat if, I do decide to write Deathtrap.
With me.
Oh, yes, of course, with you. If I do decide to enter into such a risky and exciting collaboration, I wonder...
Wonder what?
I wonder if it might be just a trifle starry-eyed of me to contemplate a partnership where I could count on no sense of moral obligation whatsoever.
Are you saying you don't think you can trust me?
How clearly you put it.
You can trust me. You can always trust me. You just have to make sure of one little thing.
Which is?
That whatever happens, I need you. For instance, like I need you now.
Would you count the ways?
Well, it's a little academic, but I happen to know that Act 1 is coming out a little stilted and heavy-handed.
Yes, well, of course I can help you with that.
Then do it.
Well, I certainly could use half the royalties of a good solid hit.
I think there's a movie in it, too.
Porter just gave me the figures on Myra's estate. It's even smaller than I thought. $22,000. And half of that's going to go in taxes, of course. There's still the land and house, but he says I can't sell off any acreage until the will goes through probate, and that could be 2 or 3 years. Yes, the insurance money isn't all that much either.
The offer's still open.
You know, it occurred to me that morning that the play in the mail thing would make a good first scene, really.
It's your idea, Sidney. All I did was help with some of the details. It's pretty neat the way you managed it.
Yes, I tried breaking in. Damn thing's a fortress. Porter noticed you locking up. I thought you might be stealing my ESP idea.
No, I thought I was being so inconspicuous.
No, he's sharp. Dull, but sharp. I'll do it. Let them talk. I'll laugh all the way to the bank.
You mean it?
Brule and Anderson.
Great.
To Deathtrap.
Deathtrap. We'll make it Wilton, not Westport.
Oh, leave it Westport. What the hell?
Jesus. Just think, me, Clifford Anderson, collaborating with Sidney Brule.
That is from Act 1.
Ah, Act 2 is going to be a problem.
How so?
Well, we've got the murder in Act 1. 2 murders in effect. Act 2 is liable to be a letdown.
Not necessarily.
We'll bring in a 5th character, a detective. I was thinking of a Connecticut version of the one in Dial M.
Inspector Hubbard?
Yeah, and Inga Van Bronk ought to come in again, too. Good comic character like that, it'd be foolish not to make the most of it.
I'll tell you what, Cliff. You go on drafting Act 1. Let me do the thinking about Act 2.
Come in. Mr. Brule isn't here.
I come through wood. It's less to walk.
He should be back any minute.
You are?
His secretary, Clifford Anderson.
I am Helga Tendorf. I'm psychic.
Yes, I know. Mr. Brule spoke about you. I understand you predicted his wife's death.
Oh, yeah. Oh, such pain. Right here. Oh, very sad. Such a nice lady. Just wrong. Well, Mr. Brule?
Yes, fine. He went out to dinner. First time since, well, he said he'd be back by 10, and it's 1:15 now.
There'll be big storm. Much wind and rain, thunder, lightning. Trees will fall down.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah. What's on the radio? I come to borrow candles. I'm not in house. You have?
I don't know. I haven't seen any, but there must be some. I'll go look. Won't you have a seat?
Oh, thank you. And you wear boots.
Everybody does these days. They're very comfortable.
You are for a long time secretary to Mr. Brule?
No. I came here about 3 weeks ago, right after Mrs. Brule died. I'll go look for the candles.
Mr.
Brule. Hello. Mrs. Tendorf is here.
Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Brule.
Good evening. How are you?
Well?
Did you get my card?
Yeah, thank you.
Yours was most kind. And the flowers.
Do we have any candles? There's a storm coming up. Mrs. Tendorf wants to borrow some.
Yes, I believe we do. I think Myra kept them over the refrigerator. If not there, then on the shelf in the foyer. Gray cardboard box. I saw you on the show the other night. It wasn't a very good night for you, was it?
What? It's man I warn you of. Man in boots who attacks you.
God, in the turmoil of Myra's death, I completely forgot about your prediction.
Is he? Candles not why I come. Have many candles. But tonight I feel here danger again, and in this room is very strong. You should not have him here.
You know, I made up my mind just tonight to dismiss him. I've been discussing it with my lawyer. You see, I felt uneasy about him for the past few days, so I've had my lawyer run a little check on him.
It's Smith Corona. It's his.
Yes.
Naturally, Corona, not Kelowna. The why I see on black man's face, Curtio. You must send this man away tonight.
Well, I was going to give him his notice at any rate, and I certainly won't put it off now that you come and warned me about him. You're sure that he's the man you saw attacking me?
First image like TV so sharp.
You come in, Clifford.
Thank you. I take two.
Well, you're welcome to take more.
Oh no, two are enough.
Wow, it's really blowing up out there.
Yeah, sometimes they are right with their predictions.
No need to. I hope you beat the rain, Havner.
Oh, I go through the wood. It's left to walk. Good night.
Good night.
It's pitch dark out there. Will you be able to see?
Oh yeah, I have torch. Good night.
Good night. What is it?
My daughter is pregnant. So many years they try, so many doctors they go to, and now at last they make me grandmother. Oh, good day, good day. Oh, I was calling tell them.
She told you I am man in boots to attack you.
Yes.
She noticed them just before you came in. Did you tell her I used a styrofoam log, not one of the weapons?
I didn't think that quite advisable. I told her you were giving me karate lessons and we were attacking each other left and right. The closer you stay to the truth,
The better off you are. I finished Act 1.
Did you? Well, your evening was much better spent than mine.
I ended it with Julian on the phone.
How can I go on without her?
Wants the doctor to think he's upset, doesn't he?
Yes, well, your dialogue may be a bit tin pan alley, but your timing couldn't be better. I've got Act 2 ready to go.
Terrific.
That is, I think I do. There are a couple of bits of business that worry me. We'll go over them, and if they work out, I'll give you the whole thing scene by scene. It's full of surprises.
I can't wait to hear.
Go upstairs and check the windows first. It sounds like we're going to get Hurricanes Alice through Zelda.
How many scenes are there?
3, same as Act 1. I like that sort of symmetry.
All windows closed.
Fine.
Now, what are these bits of business?
Well, they're in the final scene, back to back, as it were. Willard has spilled the beans, and now our Connecticut version of Inspector Hubbard has come to beard Julian and is dead. Julian, quite berserk, shoots the inspector in the left arm. But there's only one bullet in his gun. So now he has to get to the upstage wall in order to get another weapon and finish the job. Question number 1 is, can a one-armed inspector in otherwise good condition stop a two-armed middle-aged playwright from going where he wants? The answer had better be no. We'll try and see. You, Hubbard, me, Julian, right? About, over here. There.
Left arm out of condition.
Right. Ready?
Ready.
You're going to have to try harder than that.
That would look convincing, I think.
Not even at a theater party. Now, come on, give it a good go. Maybe you should be Julian, then.
I was afraid I'd tear your shirt.
Cliff, we're trying to become rich and famous. Let's not let the 5-year-old shirt stand in the way, shall we?
We'll just let the actors and directors work it out.
That isn't the way professional playwrights work, dum-dum. Professional playwrights don't even offer a script unless they're absolutely certain that everything in it is workable and doable. Now, let's show them why Brule and Anderson are going to go down in theatrical history, shall we? Voila, it works.
Yeah, look at your shirt. Jesus, look at mine. I scratched her neck.
Well, I'll survive, I guess. The second bit now. Less strenuous and very brief.
Glad of that.
Go over to the wall there. Take the axe. No, it doesn't look really natural that way.
Feels natural.
Try it a different way.
It doesn't feel right this way.
Oh, well, go back to the way you had it then. I'll tell you what, set it down on the floor. Now stand very still. We have goodbyes to say. Deathtrap is over. We're now in the theater Verite. The gun from gunpoint. No blanks as at the dear old Lyceum, no. Real bullets this time. Courtesy of Messrs. Remington. I looked at it last night after you'd gone to bed. I really can't let this play be written, Cliff. Even though nothing can be proved, too much will be talked about, and I'm a little too old and, yes, uptight, to join the church secretaries and the ex-lovers of ex-candidates and the happy hookers and the happily hooked in the National Bad Taste Exposition. And I honestly can't think of any other way to keep you from setting me up in some centrally located booth somewhere. I asked Porter to have you checked out in Hartford. A few blots were found on your criminal record, precisely the ones you told me about. And he feels, we discussed it this evening as a matter of fact, that they tend to justify this unease that I've been feeling about you. So, I came home tonight. I gave you your notice. You became abusive and violent, and Mrs. Tendorp's 3-week-old vision came to pass. Luckily, I did get to the gun, which I have a license and right to use in self-defense. Beats digging up the vegetable patch, don't you think? Truly sorry, Cliff. If you not succumb to thrilleritis malignus in what is surely the most acute case on record, who knows? We might have become the team of Brule and Anderson. As it is, we'll have to be only Brule. I'm out of dialogue. You'll go.
What can I say? I'm not going to beg.
Thought you promised to become a steam fitter or something.
Do you believe me?
No.
So, I'm hoping you'll take pity on a pretty face.
Oh, God. I'm going to miss you very much, Cliff. Goodbye, Cliff.
Bye, Sidney.
Oh, shit!
I thought a click would be anticlimactic, so I bought some blanks this morning. While I was getting the real bullets for this gun. Sit down, dum-dum. Sit down! Peripateia, reversal. You spoke about it on the first day of the seminar. Important element of all drama. Put that down. The problem was, I had this terrific first act, and I couldn't think of the second. Very frustrating. Particularly since I'm sharing bed and board with the old master plotter himself, author of The Murder Game, and of In for the Kill, which I consider a more elegant construction.
Thanks, that makes two of us.
At present, yes. So, there I am with my problem. Sidney is not going to help me. Not voluntarily. This I know from square one. Sidney uses 3 kinds of deodorant and 4 kinds of mouthwash. Not for him the whiff of scandal. But is there maybe a way I can harness that 17-joule brain and get it to work for me all unwittingly? So, I begin writing Act 1. And every time I leave my desk, I inconspicuously lock the drawer. So inconspicuously that for a day and a half, smart Sydney doesn't even notice. But then dull old Porter comes in and, thank God, saves me the embarrassment of having to become heavy-handed and leaving a loose page lying around.
You're a shit, you know that?
You mind saying that into the microphone? Be my guest.
You mean put them on?
That's what I mean.
What are you going to do?
Continue gloating. So there we are, Brule and Anderson. I write, Sydney thinks. I don't get much sleep. Take last night, for instance. I barely got a wink with all that tiptoeing going on. But I'll make it up next week. Thank you for Act 2. No Inspector Hubbard. Julian's lawyer is the fifth character. Scene 1. Julian finds out that Willard is writing the real Deathtrap about Doris's murder, with changed names, of course. He pretends he'll collaborate through the arm of the chair. Don't play dumb! Through the arm. But then ask old Peter Pilgrim or something to do some checking up on Willard, knowing full well that there are false and unfair charges to be found. Scene 2. Julian sets up Willard for what will look like murder and self-defense by getting him to enact little bits of business. It's beautiful, Sidney. That whole thing we just did, it'll play like a dream. I never would have thought of it. I'm really in your debt. Julian shoots Willard. Basically an innocent kid he led astray.
You bastard.
But the very next moment, Inga Van Brock and Peter Pilgrim come in. She's called in because she's been getting bad vibes all night. They met at Doris's funeral. Willard lives just long enough to tell the truth about himself and Julian, and about Doris's murder. Julian shoots himself. Curtain.
That's it? No scene 3?
About what? They're both dead, you moron. The play is over.
It's a little unsatisfying, don't you think? I'd be glad to think about it some more.
I'll manage to fill in the holes. And now, surprise, Sidney. I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to pack and call a taxi, taking whatever money I can find. Before I leave, when the cab is at the door, I'll throw you the key. You'll tell everyone that you gave me my notice and that I accepted it with grace and charm. If you say I stole anything or try to hassle me in any other way, you'll be opening up a very messy can of worms. Well, how about that? You've got a little bit of Angel Street to keep you company. Maybe I'll find some rubies upstairs. See you. Anon.
Yes, I've just killed my secretary. He was coming at me with an axe. Yes, and this is the strange part. You're going to think I'm drunk, but I'm stone cold sober. I shot him with a medieval crossbow. It's the only thing I could get my hands on. I assure you, it isn't. Well, come out here and see for yourself if you like, but you'd better bring some flashlights. I think the power's going. Brule. B-R-U-H-L. See? No! No! No!
They killed Mrs. Brule.
What? She died of a heart attack.
They make it to happen. Pain she feels as she sees Brule kill boy.
Now, hold on a minute. The boy didn't die.
Quiet. Brule shows her play from boy. Good play. Boy comes. Brule kills. Round neck tight. To take play. She helps him carry boy out. Pain brings me. Now I am gone, and boy is from grave. Comes with love. No, no, please, I tried to stop. Ah! She dies.
My God. A fake murder to bring about a real one. Are you sure that's what happened? I thought it was strange, the boy coming on such short notice.
But no play.
There wasn't?
But now boy writes all they have done. Brule discovers.
I saw the boy locking his drawer.
Is afraid, Brule. Play will bring shame.
What about them killing Myra? I'll bet he was afraid.
Pretends to help, but tricks boy to take axe for play and shoots with gun. But no bullets. Boy has tricked him to use to make more of play. Chains him will go. Chains come apart.
The Houdini said.
Shoots boy at door with arrow.
And drags him in and puts him by the axe.
Destroys play.
The pieces of paper in the waistcoat.
Calls police.
And while he was speaking,
Boy pulls arrow from back and attacks. Just as I saw 4 weeks ago.
God, what a story. It's better than the murder game.
You are thinking would make good play.
It does have the feel of one, doesn't it? Everything happening in one room. 5 characters.
Deathtrap.
Say, that's a catchy title. I couldn't write Frankfurt, but perhaps I could write Deathtrap.
Yeah, I see theater. Inside, much applause. Outside, long line ticket buyers shivering in cold.
My goodness, that's encouraging.
Yeah, but it's my idea.
How can you say that? It was Sydney's idea, and the boys, they lived it.
If I not tell, you not know.
That's true. I can't deny that. And you have supplied me with a title, which I may or may not use.
We share money, half and half.
Are you serious? I'm going to go home and work nights and weekends for months? Maybe even give up my vacation. All you've done is come in here and touch the furniture for a few minutes. If I, too, in fact, give you any...
If you not share money, I tell about telephone.
Telephone.
You speak through a handkerchief in high voice. Say dirty words to all your friends. Shame on you, important lawyer like you with wife and 2 daughters, 3 daughters, to make such telephoning.
Interfering with anybody?
Oh, be careful, this knife is sharp. That's the damn police car.